Aloha and good morning and welcome to Live at the Legislature, where every week we sit down and talk to members of the House of Representatives to talk about issues, concerns, priorities, and legislation moving through the halls of the state capitol. This morning we're going to focus on issues relating to the Public Safety Department. It is in charge of taking care of our prison systems and taking charge of our state law enforcement arm, the Sheriff's Department. Recently, the department has been in the news. There have been two fatal officer-involved shootings involving a state sheriff and a correctional officer. And recently, there was a major disturbance at Maui Correctional Facility. Amidst all this, the Director of Public Safety is trying to get reconfirmed for another 4 years. Joining us this morning to help decipher what's been going on is the chair of the House Committee on Public Safety and Veterans Affairs, Representative Greg Takayama.
Good morning.
He also represents District, and I hope I get this
34.
right, 34.
Pearl City.
Pearl City, God's country.
Absolutely.
Everybody
Fourth
who comes
happiest
here.
city in the country.
Really? Kailua is the 6th. But welcome and thank you for joining us,
Sure.
because a lot has been going on with that department, and maybe you can help us run through and decipher some of this.
Sure. You know, it's been in the news and, for a number of controversies. I think in some ways it's a good thing that we have this public discussion about public safety, because the department plays such a large role in, number one, running our corrections department, and it directly affects public safety because, number one, it takes a big chunk of our taxpayer money. The budget for the Department of Public Safety is more than $300 million a year, and that's third only to our education and UH departments. The other part of it is that it does directly affect public safety. Virtually every inmate in our prisons and jails is going to come out and rejoin our community. So whether that inmate comes out better, a better citizen than when he went in, or she went in, is going to play a large role in the public safety of our own communities. So yeah, I think it's a good public issue to discuss.
Can you maybe start from the beginning? Give us a little brief explanation. I am aware of OCCC, but take us through what are the facilities on each island and what are they supposed to do?
Sure. We have community correctional centers on each of the neighboring islands in Hilo, on Kauai, and on Maui, and of course on Oahu we have OCCC. We call these community correctional centers, they're basically jails, and this is where people who are awaiting trial or who have been sentenced to short terms, less than a year, spend their time. Prisons, we have several of them. The largest, of course, is at Halawa on Oahu, Halawa Prison, where we have about 1,100 inmates. Our actually single largest prison isn't even in Hawaii. It's in Arizona, and it's run by a private corporation, and there we have about 1,400 inmates, and these are long-term inmates. In addition, we have the women's prison in Kailua, and on the Big Island at Kulani, we have a minimum facility for people who are serving longer terms, but they're specifically there for sex offenses, and that's where we have a treatment program for them.
So what is the state of our correction system?
Bottom line is we have a lot more inmates and detainees in our prisons and jails than we have room for. And that's been true for about 20 to 30 years. In other words, we have about 5,500 inmates and detainees, and we have room for about half of them. What that translates to, especially in our neighbor island facilities, is that they end up sleeping in a cell that's meant for two, 3 or 4, which means two of them are sleeping on the floor next to toilets or whatever facilities. And it's clearly a situation that the legislature bears some responsibility for, because we've known about it for decades and really haven't done as much as we should have. So now, before this legislative session, are several issues. We are spending money to expand our facilities on the neighbor islands in Hilo, on Maui, and on Kauai. And of course, there's ongoing consideration as to what kind of shape a new OCCC should take.
Well, it takes a lot of money
Definitely.
to build new facilities.
Yes.
What are the alternatives to that? Or are there any alternatives to that?
Well, we certainly need to modernize. We, as you said, do need to put more resources into improving our facilities. But the second half of it is that we need to look at maybe people who shouldn't have to be in jail. And that's why we're looking at the process of bail reform. Last year, the legislature appointed a task force to look at the issues related to bail reform, and they've come back with a report with 24 recommendations, and we're taking a hard look at them now. See, the bottom line is that half the inmates at our jails haven't been convicted of anything. They're awaiting trial. They can't post bail. And the bottom line about bail is that it's a cash bail system under the current system. In other words, if you're wealthy, you can pay bail.
Right.
Those who have less means oftentimes cannot. And what it means if you're sitting in jail unnecessarily is that it affects your job, it affects your family, it affects your life.
Right.
And studies have shown that people who spend time unnecessarily in jail are exposed to a criminal element they wouldn't otherwise be, and they turn out worse. And that's not in our interest. That's not in the interest of public safety. So we're taking a serious look at bail reform, streamlining the process so that people don't have to wait weeks in jail unnecessarily, waiting for a chance for a bail hearing. Streamlining the process so that those people who are on bail or who have been cannot afford bail, are really the bail is set an amount that's reasonable based on their financial circumstances as well as their risk to the community.
How many people do you think, with bail reform, that would take out?
It's not going to eliminate all the people who are in jail, cannot post bail, because those who are a risk to the community, those who are a risk of running away and not showing up for court, those won't be affected. I'd say we can at least look at those several hundred people who we might be able to release.
I've got 50 seconds. I want
Sure.
you to quickly talk about an ingenious idea that you put forth, and that was look into buying the underused federal detention center. That did not move in the Senate. Is it dead, dead, dead?
Oh, it's not necessarily dead. It's, again, it's a common sense idea to instead of building a new CCC at a cost of hundreds of millions of dollars, buy the federal detention center. Half the people there we already pay for rent from, and it's underutilized. Less than half the cells are used. So I think the governor can still pursue it, even though we're not passing a law this year. And the governor can look into it with the White House, come back next session and tell us what he finds out.
Well, great. There are lots and lots to talk about. It is a tough department. It is not a touchy-feely department. But we're all touchy-feely here, and that's why next week we're going to be back with Live at the Legislature. See you again. Aloha.